Warning: this video can contain some pictures that can disturb other viewers. Please be aware of that. Thank you. And have a nice day. This crash is terrifying. Even more than the time I saw this one movie, Monster House. That movie is as terrifying as this train disaster. This is the story of the Silver Springs train collision. On February 16, 1996, an Amtrak train was leaving on the tracks that it was told to go on. The train consisted of a new locomotive leading, which was P40DC-811, and a senior locomotive, being F40PH-255, trailing. There were passengers on that train. In the opposite direction was marked train 286, with cab car 7752 leading because the train was in push-pull mode, and GP30 and Mark 73, one of the GPs, a GP39-2, which was pushing. This train ride for both passengers on both trains was about to come to a crashing end. Both trains were approaching the signal. And also, there was a CSX train stopped. The signal was then set at danger with red. But for reasons still unknown to this day, the MARC train zipped past the signal at 66 miles an hour. And then, disaster strikes. The Amtrak train was going so fast in which it derailed, thus making the 255's fuel spill and get at the MARC coaches. The MARC coach is caught fire, in which many people will have been burned alive if they're still in those coaches. Now that would be horrifying. That would be very scary to see. And in total, F40PH-255 veers off the tracks, smashing its front. But 811 suffered minor damage, with Mark 73 leaning off the tracks, but cab car 7752 was almost torn in two by the force of the collision. Most of the Amtrak train's passengers came out all right, but the same can't be said for the MARC train's passengers. 11 people were killed in the collision, including the Mark crewman. The survivors were wondering, how the heck could a train disaster like this happen? And why did it have to? An NTSB investigation revealed that the cause was that the Mark engineer did not listen to the signals. Due to unknown reasons. Did he forget about him? Was he a terrorist? Or did he want to commit suicide? We may never know. Mark, along with Amtrak, CSX, and the state of Maryland, were sued soon after. For reasons unknown to this day, the Mark engineer did not listen to the signal. That led to this deadly catastrophe. In the end, F40PH number 255 was considered totaled and towed off for scrap, while 7752 and 2 other coaches were then hauled off for scrap. P40DC 811 was thought to have been hit, but it was F40PH 255 that had gotten hit. And it continued to be in service and the P40DC continued to be in service for many years before Amtrak decided to put 811 in storage, and it's possible that it would never run again. Mark 73 continues to still operate to this day after being repaired and returned to service. It's been 24 years since this crash, and we hope never to see anything like this again.